Hello, my name is Michelle, and this is my reflective video presentation for my first academic period evaluation for my leadership in the global environment class. We started our course with an introduction. This is a course of 5 weeks for this first period. And during this introduction, we started seeing, a bit of the concept of leadership, what our purpose in this class was. And I think for me, that was really interesting because as I mentioned, I think I really want to take this and the tools that are being given to me and do something great and really help push others forward and learn myself, evolve and develop myself. And we started talking about how this is a complex world with new challenges, and new leaders are going to have to be able to face those challenges and take others and guide them through them and be able to actually, successfully swim through this ocean of ambiguity and uncertainty. We spoke a bit about failure, why we fail and why we're scared of failure, but I think it's a great opportunity for learning. Once you fail, you shouldn't do it like things a certain way anymore and actually be able to evolve. And the future is collaborative. Back in the day, and we saw this as old school leadership, it was just a leader who told you what to do and kind of just guided everyone into, oh, you have to do this and you have to do it like that. But nowadays, the future is working by hand and understanding people's needs as much as the tasks that need to get done. For week 2, we started talking about a more global leadership style, and we started seeing it also from a business point of view. And we started speaking precisely about international businesses such as joint ventures or franchises and other types that have, come to light. We started talking a bit about globalization, about how not just the world is getting globalized, but also leadership. And we started talking about multiculturalness and how a leader has to adapt to all these cultures thanks to globalization itself. Some people are scared of it, but I think it can bring really great things to the table. And there was this really great analogy that the teacher mentioned precisely for this, and that is that you need to learn how to cook with different ingredients, like a good chef. A leader is a good chef who takes all these good parts from all these different cultures and different backgrounds and does something great with it. And we spoke a bit about the manager versus leader characteristics and about how you kind of have to find a balance between leading and actually getting tasks done through a managerial style. For my week 3, we started speaking a bit about the history and evolution of leadership. Why do we study it? How have leaders changed? And I think it's really interesting seeing this. I guess the different needs and the different points of views and cultures that people had, throughout different eras. And something that really stuck to me and was really important for me is that we will inspire the leaders after us. And throughout this leadership timeline, I was able to identify 4 eras that I think really stick with me the most. And it's classical Greece, the Middle Ages, Age of Enlightenment, and the 20th century leaders. Why? Because we see real change and questioning, I guess, throughout these eras. We're not just sticking on, being powerful and rich or coming from a great family, but also just being a great person and thinking differently and breaking through and being conscious and, developing new ideas. And then we went into the leadership theories in week 4. And, theories are a reflection of what was happening at the time. So that was really interesting to me, being able to see how necessities evolved and how, leadership styles evolved hand by hand. It was almost like a never ending cycle. And so you can see what was happening at the time by seeing the types of leaderships and leadership theories that they had. So the first theory that we saw was the gray man theory. And this theory said that leaders were born, not made. And this really makes sense for the 1840s because, it feels a bit archaic, especially since it was solely focused on men. But if you think about it, it makes sense. It's the type of leadership that they needed back in the day. Then we went into the trait theory, and this one really stuck with me because it made me say, hey, maybe I can be a leader too. Because this says that leaders can be made. There are certain characteristics that a leader needs, and you can really develop these personality factors and qualities. You can learn these traits and become a great leader. And this is where we went into our MBTI. My personal MBTI is ENFJ. And, I think with my personality type and the tools that are being given to us in this class, that means I can really get to be a great leader. The next era that we saw, this is going into week 5, was the behavioral era. And this really went into the fact that development of leadership skills and behaviors can be learned. There were 4 different behavioral eras that we saw, and they all said that you were either production-oriented or employee-oriented. And this was really important into developing new leadership focuses. And finally, we get to the situational era, where the environment plays a significant role in the dynamic. It's not just about your own personal traits, but the situation and context that you're in. And we saw that divided by the contingency theory, which really focuses into the environment. And we saw the great analogy of a baseball player. If you take a baseball player, but you put him at a basketball field, he's not going to excel. So you have to put him back in the baseball field. And the situational theory, which speaks about adaptability, about how it's a two-way relationship with our followers. It's not just about what we or how we affect them, but how they affect us as well. And so what makes a leader? Some people are born with a facility to lead, like musicians. As I said before, this was a really great analogy that helped me. I think analogies really stick with me in general. But musicians can be born with natural talent for music, but if they never practice an instrument, how will they be great musicians? Despite of having the facilities, anyone could be a leader, but if you don't put any effort into it, it's never going to happen. So finally, what is leadership? And by definition, it's pretty simple. It's the ability to be able to course a group of people on a certain journey or to get a certain task done. But it's so much more deeper than that. It's a lifetime of learning and empathizing and understanding people and being able to guide them through life and challenges. And I hope that with this class, I continue to learn how to be a great leader and how to lead a group of people in a real empathic, great way. Thank you.